Imagine yourself in a high-speed car. You have the pedal pressed to the metal. The engine is roaring. The RPMs are redlining. And you're sweating from the effort of keeping it on the road. But then you look out the window and realize the scenery isn't moving. You aren't going anywhere. You're on a dyno machine. You're burning all your fuel, stressing your engine, and exhausting yourself just to power someone else's garage. This is exactly how most people live their financial lives. They run at max speed just to stay in the same place. We call it the rat race. But it's worse than a race. A race has a finish line. This is a treadmill. And the worst part? It's not an accident. The car was designed that way. We live in a world where we are brainwashed to think more income solves everything. We think if we just get that promotion or that side hustle pops, we'll be free. But income is not wealth. Take Mike Tyson. In his prime, he was the baddest man on the planet. He earned over $400 million throughout his boxing career. That is, never work again money. That is, buy an island money. Yet, he famously filed for bankruptcy and ended up $23 million in debt. How does a man earning $30 million a fight end up broke? It wasn't just the tigers or the mansions. It was because he was playing the game of income, not the game of wealth. He was a high paid employee of the boxing commission. As long as he threw punches, he got paid. The moment he stopped, the money stopped. He was hauling buckets of water instead of building a pipeline. If that story scares you, it should. But it should also wake you up. Welcome to Money Mind Stories. If you are ready to stop being a pawn, if you want to be truly open minded about money and learn from the stories of successful people so you can finally build that dream life you deserve, hit that subscribe button right now. Join the journey because we are about to rewrite the rules that schools never taught you. And speaking of school, that is where the problem starts. The modern education system wasn't built to create CEOs, investors, or free thinkers. It was designed during the Industrial Revolution to create compliant factory workers. Think about it. They teach you to sit still in rows, raise your hand to speak, and move only when a bell rings. They are training you to trade your life in 2 week installments for a paycheck. I remember my waking up moment. I was sitting in a corporate office and I realized I had to ask a grown man for permission to go to a doctor's appointment. That's when I knew I wasn't a partner. I was a subscription service. I was selling my time to build your dream, not mine. So, why do we stay? We stay because of consumption trap. Society tricks you into thinking wealth looks like spending. You get a raise, so you get a better car. You get a bonus, so you upgrade the apartment. We buy things we don't need with the money we don't have to impress neighbors we don't even know. This is the golden handcuffs. You might be making $200,000 a year, but if you spend $200,000 a year, you are just as broke as the person making minimum wage. You just have nicer toys. You are fragile. One layoff, one recession, and it's all over. So, how do you get off the machine? You have to master two things: defense and offense. Defense is your foundation, it's living below your means, it's having FU money in the bank. When you have 6 months of expenses saved, you don't have to laugh at your boss's bad jokes. You don't have to take the abuse. Saving buy you freedom of choice. But here is the hard truth. You cannot save your way to financial freedom. You can't penny pinch your way to $1 billion. The fence keeps you safe. Offense makes you rich. This brings us to offense. You need to shift from labor to leverage. Think about Jay-Z. He didn't become a billionaire just by rapping. Rapping was his labor. That was his job. But he realized early on that the real money wasn't in performance, it was in the ownership. He famously said, "I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman." He owned the masters. He owned the clothing line. He owned the champagne brand. He stopped being the chess piece and became the hand that moves the pieces. This is the secret the wealthy know. You need to divorce your time from your money. If you have to be in the room to make money, there is a ceiling on your life. So, what do you do today? You don't have to quit your job tomorrow. That's reckless. Instead, use your job as your investor. Take that paycheck, your seed capital, and instead of buying liabilities that lose value, buy assets. Start a side business, invest in the stock market, buy a rental property, create digital products, buy anything that pays you while you sleep. Because here is the reality: life is short. You have maybe 4,000 weeks on this planet. Do you want to spend time running on a track that goes nowhere, sweating for someone else's bottom line? Or do you want to build your own road? The gate is open, the engine is running, the car is yours. Start driving.